Hi, I'm gonna tell you about a book that I'm reading. I'm reading this book. It's about Nietzsche. For the ones who don't know Nietzsche, he was a philosopher. And so, in this book, I can learn a little bit more about his life because I already knew some quotes from him, but I didn't know a lot about his life. Something that I knew about him was confirmed by reading this book. For example, that he was a very egocentric, selfish, and what else? I can say that he loved himself. So he thought he was the best philosopher, he was the most intelligent person, the wisest person, the best philosopher ever. He disagreed with most of everybody had already written before him. And another point that I knew about him that was confirmed here is that he had many kinds of prejudice. Yes, he had prejudice against people from different nationalities. He had prejudice against women, but he had these problems because he was a depressive person. He had suffered some disappointment when he was a child. He had problem with his mother, with his sister, and his greatest love. Yeah, he loved a person, but he was not corresponded. So he had only problem with women. Then he, of course, had a negative idea about women. But we know that we can't generalize that. Yeah. Well, reading this book, I could see how egocentric, how self-centered he was because he, in the entire book, he wrote about his writings, the other books that he had published, and then he was kind of overvaluing them, okay, and I don't think they were that much. So, from the entire book, what I could find useful was when he explains why he thinks he's so wise and why he thinks he's so intelligent, and gives us tips to be as wise as he was or as intelligent as he was. And then I separated some of these tips to share here with you. One of them is how to be wise. He says that um, has he never tries to revenge. He never keeps the bad things that he feels about other people. Um, because he says when you want to revenge, when you have that bad feeling against somebody, you are not doing that bad thing to this person, but to yourself, because you are poisoning your soul. And you have some physical problems with that. You have some problem with your stomach, some heart disease, and I completely agree with that. That's interesting because some of these ideas are not from his thoughts. Yeah, because he got these ideas from Buddhism. Mhm. He was completely against religions. He always said that God is dead. He didn't like the kind of moral that religion used to preach. But at this point, he is in favor, he's for, yeah, some ideas that he adopted from Buddhism. And so, first tip, how to be wise. Never keep bad feelings that you have against other people. Don't try revenge because then you are poisoning your soul and you have some physical consequences, such as stomach or heart disease. Another thing that he says here is you can be successful when you don't attack people, but you attack their attitude. Then, mm, let me see. When he says that he is able to keep himself calm and to keep other people calm. So never be angry, never attack people, because then you are gonna have failures. If you want success, attack attitudes, actions, behaviors, but never people. So this is from the chapter where he speaks about being wise. The chapter where he speaks about, or he writes about being intelligent, he says that you can get better intelligence, you can think better, you can learn better if you take care of some items related to your routine. For example, about your meals, you need to, what's the word? You need to have a discipline when we are talking about eating habits. For example, he says here on page 47, never eat between the meals. Prefer tea to coffee. Another idea is try not to sit along the day because you need to be in movement all the time. He says that the sitting life, let's see if I can say like that, is a real sin. So don't sit down. You need to be in movement all the time. Your body needs to be in movement all the time. Your mind needs to be in movement all the time. Another thing is you need to choose a place to live where the climate is pleasant for you. Let me see another thing that he says. The type of entertainment that you choose to yourself. The best kind of entertainment is, guess what? Reading. Yes. Because then when you are reading, you are not only entertaining, you are exercising your mind and you are also learning lots of things, lots of new things. And then life is in movement. You are in movement. Your soul is in movement. But he also says that there are some people who read by reading, just by reading, and so everything they needed to say, to think about, they never think by themselves. They think by what they read. So be careful when you read it too much, and try to be critical when you are reading something. Never adopt to yourself what other people say. So then I was practicing that when I was reading his book, because I was reading but not adopting to myself everything that he was saying here. That's why I selected what was interesting and what was not interesting, because he was not the one, as he uses to say here. Let me see what else. Music is another kind of entertainment that he really recommends. But you need to be selective. Yeah, you need to select the songs, the music that you listen to. It needs to be funny, but at the same time calm, deep. And he compares here that it should be as an autumn afternoon. It needs to be peculiar, pleasant, soft, sweet, with grace. So here is his recommendation. I prefer rock, different levels of rock. What about you? What kind of music do you like? Another thing that he says here is about being careful with your expenses, with the things that you spend money with. He says that our biggest or greatest or largest expenses are the big number of little expenses. I thought it was interesting because sometimes we don't have enough salary. Yes, enough salary. When because we need to pay many things, and then at the end we when we see, when we observe, when we notice, when we are aware, the money has gone. And many times we are not spending with things that are really expensive, but with little things, little expenses. And at the end, money has gone. Then be careful with your expenses. Try not to spend with things that are useless, things that you are just spending money with them. They are useless. How many times have you bought anything or something that after some time you look at this thing and you think to yourself, why did I buy it? I shouldn't have bought it. So think about this before buying, not after. Let me see what else. So these ideas, these tips were interesting. Ah, and at the end, let me see which is the end of the tips. Okay, okay. Oh, yes. No, this is not the end, but there is another tip here that I thought was interesting. Not to take everything so seriously. He says that many things that humanity thought seriously so far, they aren't even reality. They are just lies, illusions, and they became harmful for people. Sometimes they became harmful for humanity. And then don't take everything so seriously. Okay. What else? What else? Okay. He says that don't regret too much about everything that you do. Don't suffer because of things you did, because we become what we are. We are the people we are now because of the wrong decisions, too, because of everything. We are a group of things that happened along our life. And doing something wrong is part of this learning, is part of this building, is part of this process. All right? So that's it. And I haven't finished. I'm still reading, but so far, what I thought was interesting to share with you was this one. Okay? What about you? What are you reading? Share with us.